Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Coco Gauff's latest China Open match signals a new era for American tennis. Coco Gauff's China Open run came to an abrupt end, marking a significant turning point not only in her season, but also in the broader landscape of American tennis. The defending champion, who entered the tournament as one of the top contenders, struggled to maintain her dominance as fellow American Amanda Anisimova delivered a statement victory in Beijing. Anisimova dominates Gauff in semi-final showdown. Gauff's semi-final match at the China Open was far from her finest hour. Despite solid performances earlier in the tournament with wins over Kamila Rakimova, Leylah Fernandez, Belinda Bencic, and Eva Liss, the 20-year-old faltered under Anisimova's relentless aggression. Anisimova dismantled the reigning champion in straight sets, winning 6-1, 6-2 in under an hour. The result stunned many fans who had expected Coco Gauff to reach her second consecutive China Open final. However, it was a statement of intent from Anisimova, proof that the power dynamic in American women's tennis might be shifting. A season of contrasts for Coco Gauff and Amanda Anisimova. While Gauff's season began brightly, crowned by her French Open triumph in June, her momentum has since cooled. Her serve, once one of her greatest assets, has become increasingly inconsistent, leading to early exits at Wimbledon, first round, and the U.S. Open, fourth round. Anisimova, on the other hand, is enjoying the best season of her career. Starting the year ranked number 36, she has climbed into the top 5 of the WTA rankings after reaching back-to-back Grand Slam finals at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, and securing her first WTA 1000 title at the Qatar Open. With her strong form, Anisimova now sits just 17 points behind Coco Gauff in the live WTA race, closing in on the American number 1 spot for the first time. The power shift in American tennis. If Anisimova overtakes Gauff in the rankings, it will mark a defining moment in American tennis. Gauff has long been seen as the torchbearer for the next generation, but Anisimova's rise challenges that narrative. Her recent performances have shown consistency, maturity, and composure, qualities that have propelled her to the brink of surpassing her compatriot. Coco Gauff's recent form raises questions about her ability to bounce back and maintain her dominance on the world stage. However, with her talent and determination, few would rule out a resurgence in 2026. The 2025 season's end has revealed an intriguing rivalry between Gauff and Anisimova, one that could define the next era of American women's tennis. As both players continue to evolve, their contrasting trajectories set the stage for a compelling battle for supremacy. Prelude, expectations, and stakes in Beijing. Every major tournament carries its own gravitas, but for Coco Gauff, the China Open holds symbolic weight. Last year, she claimed the title in commanding fashion, defeating Karolina Muchova 6-1, 6-3, and in doing so became the first American woman to win in Beijing since Serena Williams in 2013. Wikipedia, +3. Reuters, +3. CNN, +3. That victory confirmed Gauff's capacity to shine on big stages, and it elevated expectations for her in 2025. As defending champion, Gauff entered this year's tournament with both the burden of proving consistency and the opportunity to further cement her place among the game's elite. The tennis world watched. Could she defend her crown? Could she use this event as a launching pad into a new era? In raw results, the answer was imperfect. Gauff advanced to the semifinals, defeating Eva Liss 6-3, 6-4 in the quarterfinals. Sky Sports, +4. Al Jazeera, +4. Tennis.com, +4. And earlier battling back past Belinda Bencic in a 3-set duel 4-6, 7-6, 6-2, marred by tension and an on-court clash of words about mind games. Al Jazeera, +1. But in the semis, Gauff was overwhelmed by compatriot Amanda Anisimova, who dispatched her 6-1, 6-2 in just 58 minutes. Wikipedia, +3. Reuters, +3. The Guardian, +3. So to some, this might read as a stumble, a champion unceremoniously stripped of her crown. Yet to those watching the deeper arcs of tennis evolution, Gauff's 2025 China Open run signals something more profound. The new landscape, young Americans on the rise. One striking element of the tournament was that two American women, Gauff and Anisimova, reached the semis. Their clash might have felt like internal competition, but from a bigger picture view, it's evidence of generational depth emerging in U.S. women's tennis. As Gauff and Anisimova have traded wins and improvements, the notion of a single top American gives way to a cohort-driven model. The United States might no longer lean solely on a singular bright star, a la Serena or Venus in their primes, but on a constellation of high-level performers who push each other while raising the country's baseline. This dynamic produces healthy pressure. Beating an American becomes no longer enough unless you're among the best in the world, and having multiple threats forces opponents to account for depth. The fact that Anisimova, not just an outsider, delivered a decisive defeat over Gauff underscores this shift. Moreover, Gauff's matches en route to the semis show both promise and resilience. Against Liss, a flurry of early breaks turned into mastery of momentum. Al Jazeera, +1. Against Bencic, she showed grit and adaptability under fire, despite serving issues and verbal tension. Al Jazeera, +1. Even in loss to Anisimova, the outcome hints less at collapse than at an evolving standard. The bar has risen. More than wins and losses, qualitative shifts. To understand why this tournament marks a turning point, we need to look beyond scores to signs, patterns, and metaphors. 1. Psychological fortitude under duress. Tennis often becomes a game of mental terrain. During her match with Bencic, Gauff was confronted not only with the opponent's shots, but with indirect pressure from verbal jabs mid-match about team chatting and mind games. Al Jazeera, +1. She responded sharply, "You're the one playing the mind games," and soldiered on to win the tiebreak and close out the match. Al Jazeera, that composure under distraction, suggests a maturity beyond raw talent. 2. Embracing imperfection, refining strengths. Gauff's serve has been a recurring vulnerability. She conceded 7 breakpoint chances against Liss, and her serve statistics, first and second serve points, were shaky early in that match before improving in the second set. Sky Sports, +3. Outlook India, +3. Tennis.com, +3. But she adapts, recalibrates, and continues. That iterative resilience is the hallmark of champions in the making. 3. Benchmarking against equals. Gauff's trajectory is no longer just about beating non-Americans. It's about competing with her peers at the top tier. Her showdown with Anisimova was a clash of equals, and though she lost heavily, she gained data. What works? What doesn't? Where to push harder? A loss to a strong compatriot doesn't feel like regression, so much as a learning inflection. 4. Legacy, identity, and continuity. By defending in Beijing, Gauff continues to build her identity not just as an American champion, but as a global one with landmarks on every surface, in every major region. Her 2024 China Open title had already roughly placed her in the lineage of those who carried the American torch abroad. Wikipedia, +3. Reuters, +3. BBC, +3. Now, her run in 2025 deepens that identity. She is not a one-time flash, but a fixture in tournaments of consequence. In this process, she becomes a bridge, linking what American tennis has done, the legacy of the Williams sisters, of past strivers, with what it could become, a sustained presence of young American talent on the world stage. What this means for American tennis. If Gauff's China Open is indeed a signal moment, what shifts might we expect in U.S. tennis in the medium term? A. Cultural hunger for consistency. For decades, American tennis has oscillated between peaks, with household stars, and droughts, periods lacking depth. With players like Gauff and Anisimova and others rising, there's a chance for a sustained era of presence. Not just occasional brilliance, but consistent quarterfinals, semifinals, and titles. That creates expectations, media narratives, and infrastructure support, coaching, sponsorships, that self-reinforce. B. Internal competition fueling growth. When American players must face each other in high-stakes matches, the internal rivalry sharpens skills. Instead of external competition being the only premium, international battles become developmental crucibles. In the 2025 China Open, Gauff versus Anisimova in the semis was one such crucible. C. Changing public narratives. The storylines of American tennis in the coming years may revolve less around searching for the next star and more about celebrating a generation. Rather than the public casting hopeful eyes on one figure, they may follow multiple narratives concurrently. Gauff's arc, Anisimova's rise, the next wave beyond them. D. Strategic direction and resource allocation. With multiple elite American women, tennis federations, sponsors, and coaching programs may recalibrate resources, investing in broad-based development, more connective tournaments, and more support for transition years. The next generation becomes less of a concept and more of a practiced pipeline. Potential cautions and realistic headwinds. It would be overly romantic to say the 2025 China Open run guarantees an era. Challenges remain. Injuries and consistency. Sustaining at the top requires physical durability, mental stamina, and managing peaks/valleys. Global competition intensifies. Players from Europe, Asia, Latin America, and elsewhere are evolving rapidly. The margins get thinner. Psychological burden. Expectations can morph into pressure. Young stars must guard against burnout. Transitional phases. Even within a strong cohort, some players may plateau or fade. The pipeline needs ongoing renewal.